We are here with one of the forebears in gaming. This is not Indiana Jones. Who is this individual we are talking to today?
My name's Harold Johnson. They would call me Wisconsin Johnson.
Wisconsin Johnson. And you have been involved in game. How did you actually get involved in this whole crazy world called gaming?
What? From the start?
From the start.
Star Trek.
Star Trek, okay.
Star Trek. I was part of a Star Trek fan club in high school in the early 70s.
So you are the original Captain Kirk groupie.
Yes, I was a Trekkie. Thank you very much.
How cool is that? Okay.
And I was a newsletter editor, vice president of STF-CL, Star Trek Fan Club Luminicus. That was the name of our...
That had to be the first one ever, I'm sure.
That was our ship. And we were inveterate game players. And we played games. And I went away to Northwestern, which is where I have my degree from, and went back one summer to meet with some of the other people who were part of the fan club. And they said, "We've got this new game you gotta see." And they took me over to their house and trotted out a fourth generation photocopy of the rules. Nobody saw the rules for 3 years in actual print. And it was the Dungeons and Dragons game.
No kidding. Now this is going back to when like the elf was like a class,
yes,
not even a race.
Yes, absolutely. And we played one day, and I said, "Well, I understand this. I'm a big fan of folklore and fairy tales." So I got right into the role playing, and they couldn't believe what we were doing. In the very first day, I had my character standing on a table in a tavern recruiting men-at-arms, and I was a first-level character.
All right.
And we were doing amazing things. And then we said, "Well, this is so much fun. Let's get together for the night." And I was also a professional performer. I'm a professional puppeteer.
Wow.
I'm a professional playwright. I'm a professional voice actor as well.
Unbelievable.
And so they said, "We're going to get together tonight. We're going to play all night." So I went to my props closet, pulled out all these props so we would have props to play with.
Oh, is that cool?
We showed up ready to play. I had tricks and traps and bags with snakes, and we used vanilla wafers as gold coins and stuff. And showed up, and we played till 9, and the DM said, "I'm going home." We went, wait, this is all night.
You can't do that.
They said, "No, I'm going home." Well, what do we do? And I said, "Look, I don't know the rules, but I know how to tell a story. Tell you what, I'll referee if every time we get into a fight, somebody else will run the fight."
Wow.
Said, okay.
So you DM'd for your very first time, your very first night.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
And I drew my world map that night. I took a half hour to draw it, and since then, I haven't been allowed to play many times. Mostly I referee.
That's a side of it that you almost never hear about. Why don't you tell us a little bit about the role of the referee?
The role of the referee. I think the role of the referee is to be sort of the narrator, but the inspiration of storytelling. What I've always said about a decent narrator is referee is he understands that he is creating a story with a group, that the players are part of the story. The referees who do the best listen to their players and then modifies their story to fulfill the
needs of the module.
The needs of the players. I have players who say, "I think this is what's going on." And I sit there and I listen and I say, "I like that idea." I don't tell them that, I'm thinking. And I say, "But that's almost right. I'm going to do a twist." And
Gotcha.
then I change my story. And I accommodate their vision as well. That's a true sign of a good ref. That and the ability to do strange voices.
Now that is something that is so incredibly hard to do because it's like you're trying to figure out the words you're going to say and how you're going to say it, how you're going to act, as well as covering all the game mechanics. Tell a little bit about. I have to ask you this, and I'm not sure if it's happened yet or not, but I had heard something in reference to you were going to have some, not you, but someone was going to have some new players play, or not new players, but newbies, and you were going to come in as a complete novice. Has that happened yet?
Not yet.
Not yet,
No,
okay.
Yes, we have talked about me being a shill.
Can you imagine a guy that's been doing this since how long?
1974.
So you're talking a guy with 35 years experience is going to walk in like a complete newbie.
You don't think I can do that? This is
I
role-playing.
would love to see that. I think that would be the most hysterical thing ever seen by gamers, like ever.
Yes.
Have you gamed with Penny or any of the other people?
Penny, and you're talking about my co-conspirator. Yes, Penny. Yes, I have gamed with her. I had a reputation for a while of being one of the top-rated referees for the RPGA network, which Penny was head of for a while.
Cool.
Mostly because I was good at presenting the story and getting the different players involved in the story and encouraging the role play, encouraging them.
As opposed to just number crunching. I need a better sword or better armor.
Someone who says, my character says this is a lot different than, well, what do you got to drink?
Exactly.
So,
And it pulls the other people into
right.
doing it themselves, yes.
Right. As soon as you give them examples, as soon as you give them things to work with. When I created the first characters for one of the few times I refereed people at TSR, I wrote character backgrounds with mannerisms,
Wow.
and habits, and phobias to help.
Did this find
define
its
the
way
character.
into the DMG? Because I remember seeing stuff about NPCs, and that sounds very similar.
Yes, it did. It made it into the DMG because the first product I worked on was the Dungeon Master's Guide.
Holy mackerel!
I was hired to be an editor for the Dungeon Master's Guide. Which, small unknown note, our gaming group had been using the Player's Handbook and the Monster Manual that was out, but there was no Dungeon Master's Guide. So before I went up to be interviewed, what was our group working on? We were going to write a Dungeon Master's Guide and present it to TSR.
Groundbreaking.
So we go up there and it's like, I get to work on the real one? Wow.
I remember getting my DMG and reading it cover to cover.
Artifact destruction chart. That's mine.
No kidding.
Gary said.
All the explosions and all the other fun things that happen.
He said, use this chart. I said, Gary, there isn't any chart. I said, what? You didn't do a chart. What should I do? Make your own. What?
I have to invent something?
Write it for me and put it in the book. What? Okay, so you saw the chart. If you've ever seen the original Dungeon Master's Guide, it's in
Sure. I remember the
It has
floating
about-
cloud city cover.
It has about 8 different ways you can destroy items, though there's subcategories in each one. The list was 100 items long.
Oh my God.
Mike Carr, the editor, actually typeset it all, and then he looked at it and he was trying to fit it on the page, and he went, give me those scissors. And that's why you only see 8.
Unbelievable. What other groundbreaking things were you involved with early on with D&D?
2 things, I guess, stand out. The first is the creation of the World of Grayhawk products and the World of Grayhawk maps. I'm a big fan of Tolkien and had collected Tolkien posters of that age, of the 60s. And when we were trying to do World of Grayhawk, they had no concept on how to make the maps interesting. And an artist named Darlene, who was attached to the company but was an independent, was looking for something to pay the bills, to put some food on her table. And I said, well, you can take my hand-drawn map and turn it into a piece of art for me. And I described it to her, and I handed her the copies of the posters and said, like this. She drew me the map. I framed it, put it on the wall of my office, and the day I did, Gary walked in to ask me a question, saw the map, and said, who drew that? I now know how I'm doing World of Grayhawk maps. So
That's cool.
groundbreaking number one. And groundbreaking number two was C1, Hidden Shrine of Tamoanchan. That's how it should have been pronounced, but the N's missing in the title, so it's Tamoanchan.
Funny how these things drop out, right?
Right. And I looked at what Gary had done prior to that with T1 and the G series, and I said, I'm going to learn and I'm going to take it the next step. And instead of
You've written modules then?
I've written lots of modules.
Really?
The C1, you don't know of C1? The collector edition, which was the 1979 Origins Adventure, has had a limited number of copies, 300 copies, plus referee copies, plus employee copies, plus some unnumbered copies. And these are limited numbered signed ones, sold for $4.50. I sold one of the unnumbered copies here at Gencon auction for $349, and the guy who bought it turned around, put it on eBay, and sold it for $1,280.
Oh my God.
And if you go into the internet, look on Harold Johnson, TSR, Wisconsin, you'll find the Wikipedia page about me and about the Hidden Shrine of Tamoanchan, the numbers they have tracked. It sells for between $1,200 and $1,600 for a mimeographed copy of an adventure.
Holy cow! That's amazing.
And that one started the standards that you see for adventures. You have box text that is read to the player, that is story type. That was new.
Really?
Yes, you have a hidden text. You have wandering monsters who are no longer a set of stats, but they have tactics and they have personality. That was in C1. The
Wow.
whole direction that we went started there with that project.
Holy mackerel. I've only got 3 minutes left, actually 2 minutes left. What is, God, how do I, oh, God, I've never had a loss for a good question.
He's trying to bargain with me now.
Here's the last thing. He himself, the guy I just told you about, that we're talking about here, he collects things himself. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you purchased today and why, maybe?
Well, I purchased Tom Wom's Awful Green Things from Outer Space because I'm a three-dimensional, yes, thank you. I'm a three-dimensional miniature gamer, and I have been.
Big time. That's cool.
All along, and I have it in my head that I'm doing a toy-level copy of Awful Green Things of Outer Space. I have myself Stolpy. I'm ready to go. I'm going to make the figures instead of little cardboard counters and have
Oh, is
my
that
own
cool?
three-dimensional battle.
Have you done any figure painting? Built any terrain?
I do figure painting. I'm better building terrain than I am figure painting.
Really?
Yes.
That is awesome.
Again, professional theater, sorry.
Yeah,
That's my
making your own
background.
props?
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know what? I have to thank you so much. And I want to let everybody know, I mean, these people that I interview, I mean, these people are treasure troves. If you go to any kind of a con in the future and you see an older gentleman or an older lady, go up and talk to them. Yeah, versus, we won't even show my hairline. Go up and talk to them because they will tell you the most amazing things you've ever heard.
And you know why that is? Because we're gamers. Because
We know no age limits.
we know no age limits, and believe it or not, I'm nobody special. I'm just a gamer who had the
That's how we
fortune-
all started, right?
Yes.
Okay, I don't want to run out of time. Thank you so much, and we will talk to you later.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.